Live from Los Angeles. Welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
Hi, I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jessica Moyer. This is Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Now also available on Apple TV and Roku.
It's Friday Feels, all about dating, love, and relationship. But we're talking about a day in the life, knowing that you live a life that not the 7.7 billion people on this planet do not live. Only you live because you get to live your truth and express yourself uniquely.
I love that. 7.7 billion.
Right?
That's incredible.
How in the hell do we fit all that?
Well, of all those people, I'm so excited because we have four very special ladies in the house celebrating Friday Feels with us. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning. We have got the host of Pop Fusion TV, Francesca's in the house, Gina Hendricks, legendary and iconic matchmaker. E is here, and she's a multimedia artist known globally for her work in fashion and film. And Lindsay, thank you all so much for being here, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
This is going to be a really special day, right?
Always is.
So here on Good Morning La La Land, we like to know, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine like? Francesca, let's start with you.
Oh, first thing I do is I always thank God for just another day. There's so many people who didn't get to wake up today, so I'm just so thankful. After I'm done with that, I don't touch my phone for another like 20 minutes, and I just sit there and I journal and I write out my goals for the day, and I try to complete them within the day, and if not, like within the week. But starting off with gratitude is so important to me, and just like goal setting.
So good.
Yeah, I'm going to take my goal list, give it to her. I feel like she'll get it done.
Yeah. She gets it done like with a smile too.
It's great.
Gina, what about you? What's your morning routine like?
Well, my morning routine is about my dogs, which you guys have heard me say before, but I have a house full of animals, so I've got 5 dogs and a cat, and I wait on them hand and foot. So my mornings is about, and that's like family time, because that's my family. So, we play, believe it or not, we play some games in the morning while I make my coffee, and then of course I do try to organize. I sit there with my coffee for a little while, and once I've done the dogs, and then I make my lists, similar to what you said. I do try to set some goals for the day. I find I have my most energy when I get up in the mornings, so I try to get a lot done in the morning to be productive throughout the rest of the day. That's what I do.
That sounds good.
It's an entrepreneur talking right there.
An entrepreneur full of love right there.
That's
with
right.
all those handles. Ian, what about you? What's your morning routine like? How do you get inspired for your day?
Yes, I must say that to be inspired every day, every morning, I do something different. But I must say there's one thing that is consistent, which is I learned in the last couple of months to do transcendental meditation, thanks to David Lynch Foundation. And so I practice that every morning for 20 minutes. And it's been really helpful to juggle, between projects and travels and jet lags and excitements. So I really encourage everyone to try. And also my company, thanks to also this experience, we have started to be contributing sponsor of the David Lynch Foundation and of his upcoming festival, the Festival Disruption, which is taking place in LA next month on the 13th and 14th at the Ace Hotel. So I'm really, really excited.
So exciting.
Awesome.
All right.
She is up to so many incredible projects. I can't wait to talk to you more later in the show. And Lindsay, I need a little daily dose of bliss, okay, gorgeous? Like, give it to me. How do you start your day?
One of the ways, well, I'm actually not a morning person, so something I do to start my day, I actually learned this at a Tony Robbins seminar. I get out of bed and I jump on the ground and I actually do a little dance. I look at the ground and say, I'm alive today. I do a dance so that way I can get up because I'm not a morning person, and then it starts the day. It totally turns the day around and gives you so much energy.
Hour of power. I love Tony.
Yeah.
I also do affirmations too. It seems like
You don't
we all
jump
do
into the negative 40-degree bath outside?
Yeah.
I think a good morning dance is
It's plenty.
That's enough.
if you're like us and you're not a morning person. Well, thank you ladies so much for being here. We're excited to talk to you all more later in the show.
And I'll say, I'm not sure anybody's really a morning person. I'm certainly not a 3 a.m. person, but I have discovered that people make it work, right?
I don't know. I'm a morning person, but no, I don't think of 3 a.m. as a morning person. I think if someone jumps out of bed like 5 or 6 in the morning, naturally that would be a morning person.
I became a morning person
3
when I started
a.m. is
loving
kind
my
of like
life.
an insane person.
But I became a morning person only when I started loving what I had ahead of me that day.
It's true.
Right?
It's
when
true.
I was working a job that I hated, I wasn't a morning person.
So true.
When I started doing things that I loved, I was all of a sudden a morning person.
I'm glad that worked for you. It has not worked for me.
No?
I'm so excited about what I'm doing, and I love it. But like the first few hours of my day are like really foggy until I have like 1 cup, 2 cup, 3 cups of coffee, and then I'm like, oh, now I'm functioning like my normal self.
You do burn the candle at both ends, though, Jess.
Well, I do.
You're up late. You're like networking, working.
Which is really a good reason why we have guests who give us some things to make us feel like our most beautiful self. We've got a little gift from our guest Dee today. I'm excited to see what's inside. So she does a really cool strategic collaboration with Shishido. So we've got some eye palettes in here. Erin, I'll share the love with you.
Nice.
We've got some liner. So, I mean, really, it takes a lot to look like our best self, especially if the coffee hasn't kicked in and you've got a live morning show. So thank you, E. We appreciate the beauty.
Looking forward to it for sure. So I went to a Boss Babe little graduation last night. Was honored to, Boss Babe has like, they give so much free content online, it's ridiculous. And then they have like a club that's, I think it's like $35 a month. It's ridiculous how much content they give in there. They have all kinds of experts and content. And then they have a society. And that society, the society is 35, and then they have an exclusive kind of group that actually teaches online per week. And they had, I think, a 15-week stint that they just went through. So we had a little graduation for them down at Natalie's place down by Marina Del Rey. It was not Marina Del Rey. I had no idea. Or actually, it's not called Marina Del Rey.
It's called Playa.
There you go. She knows. Of course, she knows every freaking name of every ever, right? It's amazing. Did you have any idea? Like, there's this whole there's like a mini little city there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's built around Silicon Beach. So there's an interesting thing happening in Southern California and in Los Angeles. A lot of those Silicon Valley type of companies, right, in electronics, the tech world, are moving down here, and they've created like a community for themselves around Marina Del Rey, Playa Del Rey, and they're calling it Silicon Beach.
I have to say though, so when I went up to visit my son in San Jose, which is, you know, the real Silicon area, and they have Irvine development apartments, and they have Whole Foods, they have all the exact, I thought it was identical. I couldn't even tell the difference. Am I in San Jose? Am I in Los Angeles? Where am I?
It's pretty incredible.
Which is cool that we have this beautiful new development, but it's a little bit cookie cutter, not gonna lie, and it's beautiful, and it has an incredible community, but I like a little of the riffraff here. And
like the riffraff,
yeah,
huh?
I like some culture.
Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, I gotta say.
Well, if you consider West Hollywood and Beverly Hills riffraff, and I just don't know about you, but we're excited to be following your journey. I know you're doing a really cool takeover today with Boss Babe.
I am. I've taken over officially their IG stories for the day, so I'm taking the girls through kind of a day in the life, and that was the title of my podcast today, and that's what we're really talking about on the show. What is your day in the life? You know, and I think it's a unique conversation, because the point is, the reality is that 7.7 billion people on the planet, and you're the only person that lives this life the way you live it today. So we're going to go into that.
Yeah, a day in the life for me is very unexpected. So tomorrow, day in the life, we all will be at the Face Forward Gala. I'm really excited about that. It's the 10th anniversary, and it's helping survivors of domestic violence and human trafficking. It's going to be totally star-studded. Neo's performing, Jared Piven's hosting, so we're really excited. And then on Monday, we'll have some special footage from the show, and the founders of the event will be here to tell us all about it. So that'll be a fun weekend. That's just a day in my life. So I have to go pick out after the show the dress I'm gonna wear, get my nails done, fix the lashes, you know.
It is kind of funny.
Problems.
I'm all about the consistency every single day, which the show gives us, and then we have completely randomness. We're either like red carpet, or I'm like doing ministry, or I'm doing subconscious work, or on a date with my partner. Like, it's different every day.
The best part about LA, or even living a life that's, you're right, like I used to live a life that was and it's still very structured, but I've allowed for a little bit more unpredictability, and I love it, you know. But it is great
to
living in LA.
live here in the riff-raff.
I live in the riff-raff. I am the riff-raff. Deep inside, I'm just riff-raff. That's all it is.
Hey, we have it's incredible. West Hollywood is very diverse, though.
It is.
I mean, it has some gems, and then it has some mystical and dark places.
Yeah. And so speaking of which, kind of, World Peace Day. So happy World Peace Day, everyone.
Oh,
happy World Peace. You know, it's incredible because we have had a group of guests yesterday that are really contributing to that, right? Raya was here. She's the founder of Lunch on Me. She's doing incredible work, over 10,000 meals a month to the homeless here in Los Angeles. I mean, really, they are making the world a more peaceful place.
Very touched, very, very touched by her work.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the rewind from yesterday.
And the reality is that things are possible that we never knew. They've proven this in science. It's called the observer effect, where literally you can create things into a particle or not. It depends on a wave or particle and what. I mean, it's profound, the power of our thought.
Well, I would tell people that if you really want to do something, come up with a plan and come up with a goal and somewhat come up with some sort of concrete plan.
Whether you're coming from Beverly Hills or you're on Skid Row, I wanted a place where we could all collectively raise the vibration, and that's why I created these spaces for us all to go.
And now I'm actually going into my 3rd event this year, and this year was the first year that I ever had an event.
Congratulations!
And yeah, thank you.
Right?
Just incredible. Just incredible.
I can't believe that there's 51,000 homeless people in Los Angeles. And I think that what's most profound is that I think it's a wake-up call for all of us that are doing intentional work, wellness work, coaching work, that if we truly believe that we're doing this for the highest good, we do need to put out, and so many people do, put out free content and give of service at some level. And it was an inspiration yesterday for me, for sure, to get involved more in her program. Is incredible. Organic food for 89 cents a meal. Yeah. Hello.
They feed 10,000 people a month. Are you kidding? It's incredible.
Wow, slacker.
Yeah. And she doesn't take a paycheck. No. She works a separate job.
Amazing, yeah, amazing.
And what about Dawn Grabowski? I mean, she literally brought me to tears. She doesn't define herself by her disability, and she's really made a name for herself in Hollywood. I mean, she's set her goals so high. I'm going for an Emmy. I'm going to have my next documentary on Netflix. I went to 76 red carpets last month, and I'm like, holy cow, you know? It was just so incredibly inspiring.
Her focus and commitment is incredible.
Yeah, completely. And it was fun to see Andre. You know, he's a contributor at Pop Fusion too, and works with one of our guests today, so it'll be fun to talk about that.
So let's talk about Friday Feels. We're actually going to talk about day in the life. So just thinking about this as I'm taking over this Boss Babe Instagram stories, thinking about your life and thinking about how we do have consistency, like what do we want to have rituals around versus what do we want to have, what do we want to have habits around versus where we want rituals. So last night at Boss Babe, the gals were so vulnerable in their shares and what's going well and where they're struggling still and all stuff. And a dear friend of ours, Natalie McNeil, stopped in. She's working on her 5th book, which is all about rituals. And I love rituals because like ceremony, the whole ministry and everything is really about ceremonies, and there's a distinction for people. So where do we have habits that are actually things that we want to become automated? Where do we want to have exercise and eating well and sleeping well and all those things just have an automated so we get into a routine? Versus rituals and ceremonies are really about where do we want to celebrate life every day? How do we want to bring the newness in and declare the newness in our life? And I think it's important. I think people are dying for rituals and ceremony because it's a place that we get to celebrate our life, and we don't do it enough in our culture.
I never even considered celebration and ritual to be a synonymous event. I think everything just for me seems so habitual.
So true. We think only of holidays or birthdays or whatever, but I think we need to make rituals every day.
Yeah, I mean, I think when traditional religion was sort of a much more sort of mainstream thing, then rituals were a much more common experience for folks. And when that kind of went away or has kind of been diluted a little, then you're right. Like there's this sort of void for rituals and celebrating, I guess, the habits of your day.
Right.
So the difference between rituals and habits from your perspective is what, Erin?
I think it's really celebrating is the biggest thing, and invoking, meaning that we are declaring and intending something new. So we want to have habits that set into motion things like our sleep cycle, things like having it be easier to do different tasks that you have throughout the day, habits that are good habits, like things that I still need to work on, habits that we just really want to master that become automated. Driving certain areas, become habits because you learn a faster way and then it becomes a habit and you don't think about it. Exercising becomes a habit, you just do it without having such resistance. But ceremonies and rituals are things like coming together as a family every single night at 7 o'clock and eating a meal and having everyone share and connect and do something. And yes, it's a habit, but that's really a ritual because it's something that is declaring what you really value in your life and bringing newness and really connection to
So the challenge and the opportunity of creating habits and rituals in your life, right, is to make things that were once very effortless, right? So you're rewiring the brain. But the opportunity there and the invitation is to continue to connect to the spirit of the ritual and the habit, right? And not getting lost in this like hamster wheel experience that everyone seems to be living all the time.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting though, because as a single girl in Los Angeles who's very career focused right now, I don't feel like I have room in my life for rituals, to be quite honest. Every day is so unexpected, and I'm so just wholly focused on, you know, the strive and, you know, the grind, that it's like, who's got time for ritual?
You know, the greatest ritual out is connecting to spirit, and connecting to happiness, and connecting to love, and connecting to peace. And you can do that no matter what else you're doing. So I think that ritual and ceremony for me and habit is on one level about something that you're doing from a physical perspective. On a deeper level, it's something that you're doing from a psychological and a spiritual perspective. So it doesn't become just about what you do, but how you do it.
Right.
It's more important.
It's like you could take a bath and have it just be a bath, or you could put like a couple little candles around and have a flower or something, and it becomes a ritual more than, it's like a ceremony instead of just another thing you're doing in your day.
I think Good Morning LaLa is the closest thing I have to a ritual.
Yeah.
Like, no, honestly, I'm not trying to do like a shameless plug here. But in all reality, I come to the studio, I fire up the Keurig machine, I sit down, touch up my makeup, look over my notes, celebrate the people that are coming in our doors, honor them and their hard work, learn from you guys. And then I'm off on my day, but I suppose this is my ritual.
Yes, absolutely, without question.
You can do it every day.
And it's celebratory, right? For you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that defines ritual right there.
Right.
So everybody only needs one ritual, tune into Good Morning LaLa.
Yeah, right?
You're good.
But I think it's important. So say, you know, I've got a group of friends I grew up with. I have a group of friends I went to high school with that are different. I have a group of friends that I do a lot of spiritual work. And I think it's important to set up rituals with those people. So maybe it's once a month or quarterly or whatever it is, but there's all types of rituals.
Yeah.
I think that our families get diluted, and we have a yearly annual meeting with the family, and we do it's a ritual, and we do have a ceremony with it. And so for you, it's unique for you. There's not a cookie cutter way of doing rituals and ceremony. You get to create that for yourself.
How do you keep the ritual fresh and exciting and inspirational and not boring and monotonous?
Yeah, how does it
and
not
mundane?
turn into a habit?
I think that's where
Yeah, I think it's just having a celebration versus a to-do list, whatever that
Yeah,
is for you.
yeah.
For some people, it's going to be to have a dance party. For some people, it's going to be actually sitting around in a circle and saying, let's all check in and see what's going on and connect. It depends on what speaks to you.
You know, I'll be really excited to talk to one of our guests, Gina Hendricks, about this, because I think so many times, especially in relationships and in intimate relationships, after a certain amount of time, what used to be a ritual and a celebration becomes habitual. And you kind of get stuck in that third stage of love where you resent each other and it's not fun anymore and everything's a habit. So I'll be really curious to know what her feedback would be on this.
Absolutely. I love what Ellen Langer says, and she says, really, if you just set an intention to notice what's new in every experience, in every interaction, in every relationship, and you do that from a moment-to-moment basis, that is mindfulness, and that will inject celebratory sort of vibes back into that ritual or habit that's become sort of very mundane and boring.
Pattern interrupt's a good one too. So if you go to the same restaurant every single Friday night, like we do, you can go to a different, and we just love it. So it hasn't turned into a habit yet because we still are celebrating that day. But you could go to somewhere different. You can pattern interrupt. It's a good way of shaking up the habit to make sure it's still staying fresh.
I love that. And it is a question about reminding yourself why you're doing anything. Like, why? I think if you dig deep enough and you really ask yourself this regressive why question, like, why am I continuing to show up every Sunday to this family meal? I'm bored, it's annoying, they just argue, or whatever. If you can dig deeper and discover what's underneath all of that, the real reason is because you genuinely and truly want to connect with people, or you want to share your love, or you want to feel happiness. So remembering why you're doing what you're doing is very helpful.
I love ceremony. Spiritually, you know, we come together, of course, you can come together on a traditional Sunday, or we do healing circles where we have, you know, people who really need to be healed in the middle of the circle, and everyone else really holds space and speaks truth and whatever. There's all kinds of ceremonies. You have with girlfriends, we sit around in a circle and really check in and do some breath work or do some meditation or whatever. It's amazing. Like, it's great to go out and have a drink or do traditional things, but it's fun to really have an intentional connection through a ceremony. It's so beautiful.
Good for you. Love that.
I ceremonially eat dark chocolate.
Do you?
I do. When I'm thinking about all these rituals and ceremonies I do for myself, I'm like, oh, my nightly chocolate fix, my nightly wine ritual.
You know, that's as good as any, Jess, because I think it's all about what you're feeling on the inside. It's not really about what's happening on the surface level. It's about what you're feeling on the inside. If it feels like self-love and it feels like happiness, I think, you know, I'm all for it.
Right.
If the chocolate's good, it can be holy.
And it can be holy. Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's right.
Well, I'm very curious to know what your habits are and how you are making them a ritual. So connect with us, slide into our DMs, leave us a comment on YouTube, Facebook, and continue the conversation.
For sure. Let's take a little break. When we come back, we'll ask the guests here, these women, what they do for their celebrating their life, the day in the life of. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Welcome to Empowerista, a show dedicated to highlighting female trailblazers and empowering you to turn your barriers into breakthroughs.
Hey guys, I'm Amy Capra.
And I'm Justin Walter. We are
Live from Los Angeles. Welcome to Good Morning LALALAND. I'm Dr. Erin.
Hi, I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Desmond Moyer. This is Good Morning LaLaLand, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Now also available on Apple TV and Roku. It's going to be a good morning, LaLaLand.
Hola, yo soy Gina Moreno y soy una reportera aquí en Los Ángeles. Para mí, mi pasión es para decir las historias de las personas que han luchado lo imposible. Todas las entrevistas aquí en Focus TV. Hi, I'm Gina Moreno, a reporter here in Los Angeles, and my passion is to tell people's stories, the stories of people who have accomplished the impossible. For all the interviews, make sure to watch Focus TV.
Welcome back to Good Morning LaLaLand. It's an absolute honor to welcome to the show She is a globally recognized multimedia artist, and I am so inspired by what you are doing.
Thank you.
It was so fun to meet you the other day at Fred Siegel at the big launch.
At our party.
At your party.
Yes.
It was fabulous, by the way. And you brought some of the fun pieces with you, right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about them.
So I'm really excited because today is a special day because we're gonna finally have our clothing line at the store. When you came to the party in July, we only had the window display and it was just a party to kick off. So I'm really excited. So today I brought some pieces to show you. So this is a collaboration that we did with Swarovski and in China. And so there are special pieces that we used, clothes that generally they use to make Swarovski jewelries. So I'm really excited. And we have also a t-shirt.
It is so cute. Yes. I love how you're really making something that could be considered basic, right? Like a t-shirt or a sweatshirt, really and the glamorous with the crystal.
Like a fringe, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
So you know, obviously you're an extraordinary artist. You're a businesswoman. I'm so much more than all of that. But knowing, you know, habits versus rituals, I'm sure you've got to have serious habits and rituals around this art. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, first of all, I named the brand as Global Intuition because I wanted to really emphasize the idea that we all have so much available to choose, and I wanted to really emphasize that who we really are is more important than what we wear. That's why the clothing line is really about basic piece, really good material that you can always wear in time. And I really emphasize about the philosophical aspect of the brand, and especially about the idea of intuition. And this is the reason why the first collection is going to arrive at Fred Segal. Is called Intuition.
I love
you can discover from this weekend on.
So you have like crystals. Is that a representation of awakening that intuition inside? Was that the inspiration?
Yes, for sure, crystals, and also because I had the chance to work with Swarovski. So these are really unique pieces, and the Intuition line doesn't have crystals yet.
Okay.
What does intuition mean to you?
I just think intuition is something that's non-verbal, and I am really inspired as an artist by things that we can communicate and where we can transcend without really using traditional means of communication.
Oh, I love that.
As an artist, how do you get in touch with your own intuition?
I do, thanks to meditation, really to be able to every day, twice a day, look inside and to be able to, you know, find new roads internally to pave.
Is that where you get like the inspiration for your designs? Do they come to you visually when you're in a state of meditation? Do you see them?
I think for my creation, yes, for sure. Sometimes I have illuminations all of a sudden that comes to my mind, yes.
That's so incredible. And it's not just clothing. I mean, you're a multimedia artist. You're working in not just fashion, but also film, writer, director. Tell us a little bit about the project.
Yeah, so the movie is in development, and the movie is called Stars and Scars, and there's a website called starsandscarsmovie.com, and also on Instagram you guys can follow what we're doing. So it took me since 2015 to really start putting together my ideas, writing different drafts, and finally being here more in LA since last year really gave me the inspiration to be able to write something which is about China, but also being remote, being far away from China, and being LALALAND to be able to find new inspiration. I think when you live too close in the environment that you want to write about, somehow you lack of inspiration. This is what happened to me in 2015 and 16, where I found myself not seeing clearly how to deliver the message in the script. So being here since last year, everything just came together, and I'm really, really happy that we're at the final stage of the revisions.
Maybe that's because things became habitual. Right? When you're writing something and you're trying to find inspiration, and if you're stuck in a place that you feel limited in and not inspired by, it's time to celebrate life, time to come to LALALAND, start a new ritual for yourself, and be inspired to create the art that you are doing so incredibly well.
Thank you.
So I'm curious, because we're really trying to expand people's minds for the show, find a commonality, because I think that people only think there's certain spiritual people, and we've clearly broken that mold of what people think of who's spiritual and who's not. Fashion being one of those genres that it's opened my mind, it's opened so many people's mind to know that so many people have a daily spiritual practice. Now I want to break the stigma of a lot of Asian women are not spiritual. It's one of the cultural things. How did you get into the genre of spirituality? I'm so curious.
I started mostly really studying yoga when I was in China in 2015. I did also a teacher training and in Shanghai with a master of yoga who found a type of yoga which is called universal yoga, and it really combines athletics, gymnastics together with meditation and visualization. So during one of the practices you rotate 300 degrees, so you put the mat in a sort of like a cross, and it allows you to really rotate and to be always dynamic, not only through breathing but also through this rotation. But what's really fascinating to me, and that got me really, it's been a changing point, a turning point, is he taught me how to visualize colors. And so he would say the name of a color, and so you would focus on this color for a certain number of minutes, and all of a sudden you would see this color that you generally see, you think you've seen it so many times, you know this color, but you see really a new dimension. And that's been really something that has really inspired me a lot.
Wow.
And then, you know, spending more time here and had the chance to be studying with David Lynch Foundation about transcendental meditation, leading us to be working closer together with the foundation and to be able to be a contributing sponsor with my new company, which is an all-female company that I created recently, together with my producer partner, Colleen Camp, and who just starred in a movie last night I watched, directed by Eli Roth. And so I really, really liked, you know, the idea of working with an all-female company. Another woman is Marilena Borgna, who worked for Italian Vogue for over 25 years. And now she's really on board on our company. I'm really happy to be able to bring Italian flavor with Asian and Hollywood mixed together, and it's a branding and the marketing for fashion and entertainment in Hollywood and Asia.
You are truly pioneering
yes, truly,
this movement in this time.
Thank you.
It's such a relevant conversation, especially here in La La Land with what we've been experiencing as women empowering women and the men empowering us to really rise in Hollywood and to really, you know, use our voice through fashion, through art, through film. And I just have the utmost respect and gratitude for the work that you are doing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So we are really excited to be able to be presenting a contributing sponsor at the Festival Disruption, which is taking place next month. So I welcome you guys to buy the tickets and discover, and of course to go to Fred Segal, and we will also have another lineup of different stores upcoming. And so just check out our Instagram, which is @GlobalIntuition as well.
Global Intuition.
I love that.
Beautiful name. Thank you so much for all your work. So inspiring. Wow, impressed.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land. Our mission is to inspire, enlighten, and entertain, and we have done that with the next issue of Focus magazine, and we are lovingly calling it the Romance Issue. I'm Jessica Moyer, the managing editor of Focus magazine, celebrating the people of Los Angeles from Malibu to Manhattan Beach and into West Hollywood who are making a difference here in LA. Gracing the cover is Ms. Tosca Musk. She is the co-founder of Passion Flicks. It's a new streaming service dedicated to passion. Also on the cover is Mr. Rob Mack, official, my co-host of Good Morning La La Land, a happiness expert who's got a great take on the language of love. Also on the cover, Ms. Lori Harder. She's released her new book, A Tribe Called Bliss, and she's talking all of the things about loving your tribe. We're also proud to feature Tracy Bregman, from Mean Girl to Legend. You may remember her from Young and the Restless, and we're talking her journey in Hollywood. I'm also proud to announce that we have iconic matchmaker Carly Spindel's take on dating in modern romance. And for the love of television, we're also featuring Mr. Larry Namer. He was the co-founder of E! Entertainment, now president of the Newtown Entertainment Group. And we had a very special interview with him on my podcast, LA Unscripted. Also in this issue, we're featuring my dear friends, the Royals Paris, Faye and Hisham, great designers from Paris, now in Beverly Hills. We're also excited to feature Cherie J. Wilson. You may recognize her as one of the femme fatales and quintessential American actresses from shows like Walker, Texas Ranger, Dallas, and now she's launching her own production company, Sandalfin Entertainment. And we are community powered here at Focus Magazine. We're proud to feature Michelle Gillette's contribution, Healthy Sexy Brains. We're also proud to feature how one community mother is taking on our mental health and school violence crisis with her company, Q Wonder. And social media superstar and model is wielding her influence. Focus is proud to feature Sarah McDaniel. And our Focus food editor, Tambi Safran, had the opportunity to interview Chef Seth Greenberg, who's taking on Beverly Hills with his new restaurant, Citizen. And this woman is reinventing pizza, we've got a great feature on Gail Becker, the founder of Cully Power, reinventing some of our favorite foods. And our Focus TV travel editor, Wendy Kretschmer, took an incredible trip to the newest Gran Vela seaside sanctuary on Mexico's Baja Peninsula. It's life, love, and the pursuit of romance in the current issue of Focus magazine. Be sure to catch all the video interviews available on Focus TV Network and visit focusmag.us if you want to see the digital copy of this magazine. I'm Jasmine Moyer. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We're talking about Friday Feels. It's all about love and relationships, and we all must love what we do. And this woman right here, I believe, loves what she does. She is Francesca Alana, and she is with Pop Fusion TV, which is basically taking pop culture and merging with celebrity collaborations around nonprofits and giving back, right?
Absolutely.
So exciting. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about the program and what made you decide to do it?
Well, I come from a pageantry background, so naturally philanthropy and giving back is just in my blood. And when I went to school, I wanted to be a reporter. But all of the news networks were like gossipy news networks and like shaming celebrities. And I was like, wait, I don't want to do that, you know? So I was like, how can I create a platform where we talk about entertainment, but yet we fuse the philanthropy? And that's where Pop Fusion came from, essentially.
Wow,
Who have been some of your favorite guests, the interviews?
Oh, we've had so many great interviews and so many great guests. I would love to have Common on the show. He has a great foundation called the Common Ground Foundation, where he helps inner city Chicago youth. We've had April Jones on the show, where she talks about women empowerment with her wines brand.
We love April.
Yeah, even Seth from Hands of Fury, he's been on our show, and Juka's Organics been on our show. Ricky Bell from New Edition's been on the show. It's been great. And the great thing about Ricky Bell is that he and his wife Amy, they have a song out and they're giving all the proceeds to a nonprofit foundation. So that was so perfect with the brand and what we're doing, fusing entertainment and pop culture and celebrity charities.
I love
so
that.
cool.
So on today we're talking a lot about habits versus rituals, and I think that for us, you know, we realize that all of life is a relationship. We have a relationship with our higher self, we have a relationship with our work, our friends, our family, our loved ones. How do you create your habits versus your rituals in your life?
Oh my gosh, actually I'm working on that. It's so hard, like, you know, managing and running a business, and I have a great team behind me. Shout out to Team Pop Fusion, by the way. But it's just so hard because I'm trying to figure out how to balance this, how to run this business on top of, you know, setting my morning routine and spending time with family and friends, and I haven't quite got it down yet. So if you have any tips, I'd appreciate that.
I think it's an infinitely unfolding experience, right?
Yeah.
And so everybody that I know or have ever talked to feels that way on some level.
Yeah.
So there's a little consolation. What's worked for you so far, just in terms of
scheduling? Yeah, every red carpet I get, like quickly, I like write it down in my planner, and every event, birthday party, write it down and just really try to make time for those special situations. And then holidays, you know, not being so absorbed in what we're doing business-wise, but trying to really take that time and step away and just be present. Because, like, you know, we can have dinner with family and friends, but you're not really there.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like,
Guilty as charged.
For sure.
Yeah, like you're on your phone, you're on social media, you're checking your emails, and it's like you're there in the physical form, but you're not really there, you know? So that would actually be one tip I would give to anyone. Like, put the phone down, turn it off. It's gonna be okay.
You will live.
Yeah,
I've actually gone to dinner parties where all of the guests put their phones in the middle of the table, face down, and the first person to reach for their phone is the one who has to pick up the bill.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody just is like, you know what? We're gonna sit here, we're gonna enjoy until we all agree, and then we'll all share the check.
So funny. That's a good thing
It's a good
to do.
tip.
Yeah.
So there's so much content out there, right? So how did you go, okay, I'm going to commit to this show, and what's going to set me apart, and how are you, what's your take on it?
Well, media has such a big influence on everyone, right? So essentially, I just wanted to really focus in on like the charity and the good news. Like, we don't really hear the stories about our favorite celebrities who are out there giving back to the homeless, or who are making these huge donations to schools or any type of nonprofit foundation. So essentially I said, you know, I'm gonna post stuff about culture, but yet I really wanna hone in on like, well, what did this person do today, or what nonprofit does this person have? and really trying to stick to like that whole good news niche. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard because unfortunately people really don't care about the good that's going on in the community. So it's something that I have to still find that balance that's happening, but for the most part, I've been just trying to brand the blog and the show on that.
Just love that. What's your part of doing the show and the sort of running a program?
Oh my gosh, I love being a host in Los Angeles. I mean, there's so many hosts who want the opportunity to go on red carpets and to be on the show, and I think that's been the most rewarding part for me, is to build this team, and I'm just so grateful that I have a good team of people around me and who want to be a part of this, because I feel like we're all in this together, and it's unity, and that honestly is the most rewarding part to me.
Yeah, I think some people could look at competition. I don't look at it like that at all. I look at it like everyone has a unique message, and there's so many people, and we're all giving where we give, and one person's going to speak to the community one way, and another person's going to speak to them the other way. I think it's always better to collaborate and celebrate everyone.
That's right. If you don't compete, you can't be beat.
Right. And what you are doing is great as well. I mean, I love the fact that it's emotional, inspirational. Like, you guys could sit here and like talk about gossip all day and bash people, but you guys don't. So kudos to you guys for that.
Only after the cameras go on.
Right, stay tuned for that part then.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
For real.
Yeah.
So where are you guys, how can people find you?
Okay, so you guys can find us at PopFusion TV on Instagram, and PopFusion is POPFUZION TV, and then it's the same on Twitter and Facebook. Also, our show actually is also airing on AT&T Uverse and Spectrum in Los Angeles, and then it's airing in Virginia now too on Channel 10 on Cox and Verizon Fios and Comcast Channel 10. So
that's gonna be exciting.
Yeah.
So all the people from Virginia are
yes,
excited, huh?
yes. I'm like, everyone who went to school with me, you guys better be watching.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to you guys as well.
Thank you. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land.
Hi everyone, thank you for tuning into This Week in Focus. I'm your associate producer of the Focus TV network, which is America's first video streaming talk show network, but you already knew that. And I got my girl with me,
Jez Moye, co-host of Good Morning La La Land.
So last week on the Focus TV network, we had the Renwood Show. On Purpose with Brittany Zonker, we had
the incredible actor Reggie Watkins.
On the LA Home Show with our host Natasha Phillips
was broker extraordinaire Amy Kane.
Yes. On Eyes Up Here with Lindsay Palis, we had
the actress Shai Fontanette.
On Naked Chats with Josh Murray, we had
Sheena Marie from Vanderpump Rules.
Yes, we're also so excited to announce the newest issue of Focus magazine.
And we are lovingly calling it the Romance Issue. We're proud to feature Ms. Tosca Musk on the cover, along with Focus TV family Rob Mack Official.
Yes,
and
our guy,
Lori Harder.
So, speaking of Rob Mack, co-host of Good Morning La La Land, Jeslyn Moye, there was a very busy week at Good Morning La La Land. Who was on the show?
It was a great week in La La Land. On the show, we had two-time Emmy Award-winning producer and actor Eddie Perez.
Yes.
We also had dating expert Laurel House.
What?
She co-hosts the hashtag Man Whisperer with Rob Mack.
With Rob Mack.
We were really excited to talk tennis with Carrie Lynn. And all the way from Orange County, Rachel Savoda.
Wes Gear was actually here repping his Rock to Recovery event.
And Focus TV with Good Morning La La Land was on the red carpet to promote Rock to Recovery 3. We talked to Drew Carey, Jeremy Jackson, Kira Reed Lorsch was there. Let's take a look at the concert.
Let me hear you say, hell yeah! Say, hell yeah! Ready for the F-bomb? Say, fuck yeah! Now scream! I love you guys. Let's do this.
So much fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning into This Week in Focus. I'm Victoria Simone.
And I'm Jessica Moye. Don't miss the new issue of Focus magazine. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLaLand. It's hashtag Friday Feels, and we have got an This is Gina Hendricks in the house back with us today. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Stop being a bitch and get a boyfriend.
There it is.
You know, bam, that's how you go.
Okay.
How do you really feel?
Around the bush.
Yes.
No, okay.
You know, we had you on the show a couple weeks ago. It was
Yes.
so inspiring, you know, to learn about what you do as a matchmaker and how you've really mastered love, but you've put it in this book.
Yes. So yes, I did.
I mean, it's so amply titled, Just Stop Being a Bitch and Get a Boyfriend.
Right, okay. So first let me clarify here, please, if I might. You know, the book is not, you know, it's a title that I came up with because I've said it to myself in the past, quite frankly. You know, it's like, Gina, just stop being a bitch and get a boyfriend. Because talking about habits and rituals, right? We fall into these things by accident, personality traits that don't suit us. And sometimes it's bitchy, sometimes in the book about a myriad of different character traits we take on. So it could be you're too picky. It could be that you get too frisky on a date too soon, or you drink too much. But these are the habits that we fall into that just are not serving us. So that's really what the book is about.
So true, right?
You've got 16 different kind of personality types, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Talk to us a little bit about that, because you kind of just did, I guess.
Yeah, so,
But yeah.
I mean, so there's, I think one of the most common ones for women a lot of times is what I call in the book the mama bitch, which it means, you know, we get with, we'll choose a man, and this is a huge mistake. Men make it too, but we will get with a person and we want to fix them up. Like, we want to fix their lives. We can't we're not accepting them as they are. We are like, well, he's cute, I like him, but if he had a better job, or if he
tweak this
or
and tweak that.
if he was more affectionate with me, or whatever it is. And
I gave up giving up. I'm not doing the fixer-uppers anymore.
No?
Right.
Yeah, no,
but we all do at some point, don't we? You did.
Oh,
do it.
I was the
Right,
worst, the
right,
worst, the worst.
Right, and me as well. I've
Doesn't
done
work
it. I
out
mean,
well.
most of us
done it.
Yes, exactly. So, you know, so there's that one. I think that's a really common one. And then if you're an independent woman, which most of us are these days, career ladies, you know, we fall into this other one that's like bossy bitch. So a lot of times I find with, you know, my guys, my male clients that I work with for matchmaking, they're powerful, smart, high achievers, and they don't want a woman who's a wallflower, right? They want a woman who's smart and high achieving and a lot, but there's a balance, and you never want to take over. And a lot of times, women, because we have to kind of, I don't want to say steamroll, I just did, but because we kind of we have to be large and in charge to run our businesses and run our lives. A lot of times it crosses over into the personal with the guys, and guys don't like that.
It can be hard to shift gears, you
Very
know,
hard to shift
all day
gears.
if you're really trying to run your business, run your life,
Right.
And then all of a sudden you need to, you know, downshift, if you
Right.
will, and be like, oh, now let me get into my feminine self.
Well, so that could be a good
The facial expression was everything. You just nailed
and
it.
it's
Yeah,
not
you nailed
fair,
it.
but it's true. And so this is another good way to frame this whole topic today, which is, you know, you fall into these habits of, you know, taking over. Let's change the restaurant. Let's change the plan. But you should get into, if you're going on a date, you should get into a ritual, which is, now you know you're going on a date. So you drop the bossy habit. You're not the boss. You get into a ritual where maybe you light candles as you get ready for the day.
Bow, chicka,
You know?
bow, bow, you know,
You know
you
what
can
I'm
say-
saying?
That's interesting.
And you switch gears that way.
I
So that you're
Making
more
a
aware
ritual.
of it. Yeah.
Okay, I could try this.
See?
I think that's fantastic, and sometimes we call it segment intending.
Yeah,
That
there you
with
go.
every new segment of the day, you try to get crystal clear about what your intention is for that segment,
Right.
what you're most deeply wanting to optimize for in that
Yes,
segment.
I love
Like
it.
Instagram
Yes.
stories, the segments of the day.
Yeah.
You see it coming
Right.
out.
Because I think that too many times we do things unconsciously. You know, we don't want to be a lot of these personality traits that I list in the book. We don't want to be we don't want to be a mama to a man, because how unsexy is that, right? We don't want to be bossy. We certainly don't want to, you know, be insecure or neurotic or all these things. So I think that how to not be, and I talk a lot about balance, because I think that's the key to any relationship of any kind, is maintaining a balance. You don't want to be at 0, and you don't want to be at 100. You want to have that happy middle ground where you're sane and you're making, you know, good choices.
Oh, sanity. Love sanity.
But, you know, just to play like a little devil's advocate. So, you know, if you
come
were,
up with great
if you were
questions, and I love
able to read all these books, you know, years ago it was how to be a bitch to get a guy, and now we're trying to not be a bitch to get a guy.
Right.
So it's like, where in this is the place where a woman or a man just gets authentic with themselves? Because some people are intense personalities, and they try and turn it off because they're not supposed to be that in a relationship, and maybe they're authentically like, I'm not saying they should be or whatever, but where's that place where someone just finds what is authentic for them? Because what I've heard from personality experts is that the more you are pretty much the same in your dynamic throughout the day, is actually people that are most successful generally stay the same. I mean, they change a little bit in the dynamic of obviously intimacy versus a business meeting, but their general personality stays the same throughout the day.
Right. I mean, so what's your question?
The question is, how is it's confusing? I take on this role, or I'm this, like all these different personalities, when really maybe I should just get in touch with my authentic personality.
Well, but let's look at it like this. Let's frame it like this. So if you're a mom, right, you're not changing your personality with your child or with your husband, but certainly you're going to be treating your child differently than you treat your husband. Do you know what I mean? You're still going to be you, but you know, you're in charge in a way, and you have to look. Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm saying? I think you can be authentically yourself. I'm authentically myself, but I wear different hats, you know?
It's a great question, you know, and I think about it because I think about the root, like personality, I think of the root, you know, a mask. And so a lot of spiritual teachers would say there is no authentic personality. They're all masked. And at the deepest level, there is no personality. It's just something that you, like anything else, you use in certain moments for a certain effect because it's an instrument.
Sure.
And so it's being as clear as you can about what instrument makes the most sense and feels most authentic to you in that moment, and calculating and recalibrating according to the audience.
I mean, I think what I tell people, more than even relationships, I think you have to find your happiness. And so if you're happy, then that's really the key. That's the answer, right? So, but I think in terms of the book and in terms of what we're talking about, habits and rituals here, I think that, you know, a lot of times when I deal with women, if they come to me and they want my advice, Gina, I've been single a long time, and why can't I, close the deal? And these guys, well, then I think you have to take an honest look at yourself. Then something is not serving you. What is it?
Yeah.
Is it that you're bitchy, or is it that you're too insecure, or you're too needy? And men do these things too, but this book is for women. But I think that, taking an honest look, and if you're happy, listen, if you're happy being a bitch, and you're happy being freaky and sleeping with every guy in the world, good for you. But does that make you happy? So I think that's where you find your authentic self, is wherever your happiness is.
And I would just chime in and say that empirically, mean people generally are unhappy. Right? If you're mean, you're unhappy. That's just empirically tends to be the truth.
Exactly.
So generally, you're not going to be mean if you're happy.
Right.
So being a happy bitch is really not.
It's not.
I don't think that goes hand in hand. I do not.
I love it. Well, we love you, and I think that what is so great about you is that you're really authentic. Like, you want the best for everyone, but at the same time, you're like, let's get real.
Right.
And sometimes it takes just getting kind of real before people do the deeper work. And a lot of people just are really unconscious to even realize that they're just being, like, they complain all the time on all their dates. So, of course, no one's going to really want to stick around.
And I think a lot of times, as women, we again, fall into these, single women dating, right? Fall into these habits of, we get in this world where we're just texting and we're always on our phone. And I think a lot of times, we need to put the phone completely away, or a lot of times we need to have better follow through to follow up with people better. And I think that a lot of times we get sucked into these habits that don't serve us well, which is having the phone out all the time, or just not getting back to people or responding, because we're so used to sort of blowing people off in this busy, busy world we live in. But I think that in order to find a great guy and be your best self, you have to have your authenticity, you have to be happy, and you have to look at the habits that aren't serving you.
It's true. I have some girlfriends that they're always on their Instagram whenever you do anything, and I think the guys that are going to go on a date with you may not be so into Instagram, and it's just not fun. Like to be on a date taking someone out for whatever, and then you're Instagramming every 5 minutes.
Well, and on that note about Instagram, you know, I have a few girls. They're like, Gina, do you have a date for me? Gina, do you have a great guy for me? Because you know, I work with some great guys, fortunately for me. But if the guy gets a peek at a girl's Instagram, like somebody in particular, and she's just all about her ass all over Instagram, I'm just going to say it, I can't set that girl up. And I've had to have those talks. You know, it's you can't get some sort of great, classy guy if you're not presenting that image on your social media.
But you get a lot of likes.
Keep that
Instagram is fire.
I mean, you know, if you want a great guy, you've got to factor all that in. And I don't think a lot of girls are really factoring all that in these days.
It is a great point that you sort of want to be the person who you, or be like the person you want to date in that way,
you
right?
do.
So you want to sort of embody those qualities that you want to see in the person that would show up for you in your life.
Yes, you got to keep it classy. If you want a classy guy, I mean, you know,
keep
you get what you put out there, right?
Keep it classy.
Keep it classy.
That's a good one.
I love that.
Just love it.
Thank you so much for being with
thanks
us.
for
I
having
can't
me.
wait to read this. Yes, Mom, I will read this weekend. I will stop being a bitch and get a boyfriend. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land.
Great time.
A Long Time, your new single, produced by Pooh Bear.
Yes.
Works with the bees.
Yes,
I know this is massive.
It is, yeah. I was so amazed because I actually wrote a song about Justin Bieber in my previous album, and suddenly, you know, Pooh Bear comes along and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I gotta meet Justin. This is like, this is fate, this is destiny right here. So yeah, it was an amazing experience working with him. He's super talented, he's so humble, he's so down to earth, and it was just a blast working with him. You know, I'm living the best life. I have great parents, I have such good friends, I have a dream, you know, I have my music, I have my friends, so I think I'm really happy.
Welcome back to Purpose. I am your host, Brittany Zonker. I am flying with Andrew Seeley, the acro yoga instructor. This is insane, guys. I've been like this for like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
it
just hanging out.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out. It feels like you should do this every day to me.
You can set up some sessions.
This feels amazing.
Yeah.
You guys, if you want to train with Andrew Seeley, all you have to do is look him up on Instagram. He is absolutely incredible. I've had an amazing time interviewing Mr. Seeley today. He teaches all over the world. He will help your body, mind, and your soul find your purpose. For this episode of Purpose, I'm your host, Brittany Zonker. I'll see you next time.
I mean, you have been a host and much more than that for many, many years. Any tips you can give us?
You start early in the morning here, so as long as you have somebody who like picks up the speed for you, it's kind of like any relationship, right? Like someone has to have your back. Like if they know, like you're not knowing where the next camera is, the next question, you know, as long as you're in tune with each other. But I think your show is incredible, and I'm so thrilled that I could be a part of it today. But more than that, it is about saying, hey, you know what, we need to impact change. What is the one little way in our own world that we can impact change? And whether it's you guys interviewing certain people, bringing awareness to topics, this is what needs to happen, because we've all woken up and we know, we know what the future is if we keep going down this path.
I know that the calling and the purpose is so much greater than me trying to get my hair right, to go to the red carpet and whatever. I got to keep up because the purpose is so great.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We're so honored to have Lindsay Hoffman in the house, who is a lifestyle blogger, an entertainment reporter. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really good. I'm excited to be here.
Right.
So you are doing so many amazing things and giving us daily doses, you know, of inspiration and affirmation. How do you incorporate that into your life so you can like keep up? I mean, because you are hustling.
Thank you. I mean, if you've known me my whole life, I am just naturally kind of like that. I really believe that what you think every day manifests into who you are. So that's why I always will put it on my Instagram, and then I have a motivational blog, and it's basically what I talk about all the time, because what you are saying is what you become, and now my go-to thoughts are more likely to be positive than negative because of that. So I kind of put that into everything I do and make a positive spin to everything.
And so did you create this life through your visions? I mean, did you vision board the Oscars? You vision board your Emmys? Did you vision board Life and Style and In Touch?
Yeah, so Okay, here's actually a really funny story. Is I actually vision board being here recently.
Stop it!
And I'll tell you the in-touch story after that. But I want to get more into doing on-camera stuff because I work more in magazines. And so I was researching all the channels, and I mean, my phone is live streaming this right now, but I actually have on my phone a list of channels to reach out. And I did this last week, and this was one of them. And I actually followed guys on Instagram like a week ago being like, I want to manifest this. And it was a week, and now I'm here.
Wow. Powerful manifester.
Yeah, really.
Because we're booked out like 3 weeks. So.
I'm intentional. Just slide into your manifestation list.
Yeah, I could teach you. I'm like, wow, I can't believe this happened, so I didn't even know. Like,
What's been the most valuable lesson you've learned about manifesting? What's helped you the most?
That really, if you believe it, you will manifest it. If you are thinking something and you have to put energy to it. You can't just think something. You have to really do the research. I always say it's kind of like planning a vacation. Like when you plan a vacation, you pick the destination, you pick the airline, you pick the day you're going, what you're going to do on the trip, and then you do it. So if you want to manifest something, you have to, make a list, write it down, and actually plan how you're going to execute it.
I love that. Like, what if you lived your life like your vacation self? No, but seriously, that would change the entire game.
Yeah, because you meet people too when you're on vacation. I mean, I didn't even think about that part, but
I actually moved to Miami for that reason. When I moved from Philadelphia to Miami, I moved there because I wanted to vacation. And I think it's a great psychological and emotional tip as well.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what it's like here too. This is a place people vacation.
Absolutely.
In LA.
So talking about habits and rituals, you obviously get a lot accomplished through your work. You must be very organized as well. I think that there's a lot of like habitual things, but then where do you celebrate? So tell us a little bit about the habits that you have.
So my habits, I'm actually one of those people who's like a creative mind. So I'm organized in like an unorganized way. So what I normally do is as I said earlier, I'm not a morning person, so at night I will usually write down like a to-do list, and then I will Google things and list all the things I want to get done the next day. And then what works best for me is being flexible, because with a creative mind, I can't work as well with the structure. So when I have a little outline of what to do, I do that like the next day, or I'll put a timeline and then I'll check it off if I do it.
That's actually brilliant. Leadership programs recommend that because the subconscious is so powerful. If you set your intentions and things for the next day, a lot of the time I'll wake up and be like, oh, I know exactly who I need to connect about that.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought about I need to connect with and all the details, and I just write it down, and then I'll keep it in the back of my mind, and all of a sudden something will pop up, like being here.
Yeah, so to say, exactly, sometimes the things take care of themselves.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Did you ever discover that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened here. I actually ended up here because my friend had a podcast here yesterday, and then I was like,
Focus TV, hashtag community power.
Exactly, and then they were like, are you free tomorrow? And I was like, yes, let's go.
How do you stay motivated?
I just like I said earlier, I like to talk about it all the time. That's why I put it on my Instagram. I write it down every day. And then when I'm feeling not motivated, because I feel like a misconception is people think you're motivated and happy. And I'm not like that all the time. But when I do feel like down or go through a phase where I feel like I'm being hard on myself, I have like steps to combat it, which is, writing things down and talking about it. And even if I don't feel good, I kind of myself to get out there and push through it, so that I know that I'm getting stronger, and then I'm not gonna sit here and feel negative and not go for what I want.
So what is it that you want?
I mean, I think on a broad scale, I just want to inspire other people to go for what they want to do, and then personal, I would love to do similar things like you guys do, like host a show where I do motivational interviews, kind of like a millennial Oprah. And then have my own business. And the goal, again, would be to inspire people and show them that they can do it too.
Who's inspired you most in your life?
I think probably my parents inspired me the most. Because when I was little, I would always say, like, I'm going to do this. Like, you could have asked them if I was 3, I would be like I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And they'd be like, yeah, I bet you are. And so because they always said that, I just never doubted my thoughts.
Wow.
Like, I'm going to just do it one day.
Yeah, they were encouragers.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, beautiful. Well, where can people find your work?
You can find me on media. All of my platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, are at Lindsay B. Hoffman. And then I also have a blog, doseofbliss.com.
Dose of Bliss. Love that.
Love it.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Well,
Check her out.
thank you so much for being here. Stacey, we'll be back
Thank
with
you.
more Good Morning LaLaLand.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. On this Friday Feels, we're talking habits and rituals, really. How to celebrate your life in the midst of the chaos that is life. And the question that I have for each of you is, what or who most inspires you in your life? So it could be a person, or it could be something that you do, something that somebody else does that inspires you most. You want to start here?
Okay, I'm gonna start. I think by the idea of giving back, and actually with my clothing line, Global Intuition, we will be also donating part of the proceeds to the Lindau Nobel, which is an exchange program between Nobel laureates and the top science and physics students around the world, and takes place every year in Germany. It's a one-week program, enters between students and Nobel laureates.
Love it.
Yeah.
I think, you know what, this might be sad, but I think the people that aren't here with us anymore inspire me to, when I feel tired or I'm not doing my best, I think of the people like my mentor who passed away, or the people that just don't get to share every day with us anymore. So those people inspire me, actually.
I think teamwork inspires me the most. I love working with people who are all about helping each other to grow and thrive. I think the universe provides certain people in your life for a reason, and I think it's important to utilize that. And when I see it happening naturally, it's a beautiful thing to me. It's just so inspiring.
Phenomenal.
I know I went just before, but I have another one. I have a quote by Marianne Williamson, and I'm not going to say the whole thing, but the very end of it goes, as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give permission for others to do the same. So I like to live by that quote, because when you go for your dream, instead of being scared, think about how it inspires others and liberates others from their own fears, and I live by that daily.
Beautiful.
Amen. Wake up, show up, shine, right? Yes. We are Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show. You can catch all of your favorite interviews, also available as a podcast on iTunes.
That's right. We're waking up the world together. Have a beautiful day. Please like, share, comment, and may you live the perfect day for you.
That's right.
It's going to be a Good Morning La La Land.